Hello everybody, and thank you for watching another video on qualitative and quantitative analysis of pharmaceutical excipients. Today I'm going to talk about MCT, or Medium Chain Triglyceride. This video is beneficial for people who are doing reverse engineering of pharmaceutical dosage form. MCT is a triglyceride with fatty acid having aliphatic chain of 6, 8, 10 or 12 carbon atoms. It can be plant-based or from milk product. The coconut oil has the highest concentration of MCT. The MCT USP grade, according to USP monograph, we could only have caprylic acid and capric acid in the structure. There are 4 different molecules of USP grade MCT. One of them, the first one, we could have all 3 fatty acids to be capric acid or all 3 to be caprylic acid. Next, we could have 2 caprylic acid, 1 capric, or we could have 2 capric, 1 caprylic acid. So there are 4 different type of molecules. And depending on the supplier or the manufacturer of MCT, the concentration of these 4 molecules in the MCT could vary. And you could have different ratio of them. For qualitative and quantitative analysis, I'm going to talk about HPLC with ELC detector or UV, and also the GC technique. This first method is the HPLC with the ELC detector. The column is a C18 column, and mobile phase is a high acetonitrile, or it could be high methanol concentration. We see 4 peaks, and the first one is the MCT with that has all 3 fatty acid with 8 carbon atoms. The second peak, around 9 minutes, is the MCT that has 1 fatty acid with C10 or 10 carbon atoms and 2 with the 8 carbon atoms. The third peak, around 9.5, is the MCT that has 2 C10 fatty acid and 1 C8. And the small peak around 10.5 is the MCT that has all 3 fatty acid to be capric acid. With this technique, we can do the quantitation of MCT. That is, we can measure how much MCT we have in the formulation, and also by looking at the peak ratios among these 4, we can get information about the grade. So when you are doing reverse engineering and you want to figure out which MCT you should use in your formulation, or which grade of MCT was used in the product that you are trying to reverse engineer, you are just you will look at the peak ratio and make comparison and make a decision. The next technique is HPLC with the UV detector. Similar to previous slide, the column is a C18 and the mobile phase is a high acetonitrile. The wavelength in this case is around 200 nanometer. So mobile phase of like methanol concentration is not going to work because it will give you very noisy baseline. The chromatogram, similar to before, again shows us 4 peaks, and the assignment is similar to previous slide. With this method, we also can do the quantitation, and also we can do grade determination. The last technique is the GC with the flame ionized detector. The solvent, extracting solvent in this case is hexane or heptane, and it is direct injection method. And in this chromatogram again we see 4 peaks, and the assignment are similar to last 2 slides. The peak around 5 minutes is internal standard, and the one at 1.2 is your sample solvent, or solvent. It is in this case probably is heptane. The column that you would use, GC column that you use for this technique, should be a type of column that you could ramp the oven temperature beyond 300 degrees. So you need to have a special column for this technique. Similar to last 2 techniques, you can do quantitation of MCT, and also you can do grade determination. So I talked about 3 different techniques here in this slide presentation, and all 3 techniques is suitable for formulation with high water content or high fat content. And the choice that which technique you should use is all depending on your preference or availability of the equipment in your laboratory. The references in this case again are websites, supplier column, HPLC or GC column suppliers website. Thank you very much for watching this video, and have a great time.